It's a MicroPython Meetup. Welcome everyone. Right, so tonight I'm going to talk for a very short amount of time. Then Peter's going to talk a little bit about an art installation he's been involved with, which is powered by MicroPython. So it's kind of, we think it might be a world first. Fair? I guess that's a world first. Okay, pizza's arrived, so I'm going to excuse my disheveled appearance too. I'm about to start a new job, so I've been on holidays, haven't shaved, went rock climbing today, and so just bear with me. Finally, Damien's going to talk, I think, about Little FS, but maybe also async.io? Briefly. Okay. So I wanted to start quickly because the Meadow Project was recently, as a Kickstarter project, and it was recently delivered. It's kind of interesting. They're trying to get .NET running on embedded devices, and so they've built this little board. And it's kind of cute. It's really powerful. So 32 meg of RAM, 32 meg of flash. It's a really powerful STM32 on there. It has an ESP32 co-processor for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And it's in the feather form factor, so you can use a bunch of the Adafruit boards to make it do other things that are interesting. Damien the other day, I was around at Damien's office the other day, and he managed to get MicroPython running on this in about 5 minutes. So it doesn't have all those features working just yet because we don't have the schematic of everything yet. So it'll be soon. That's a really powerful board, really useful. So, and I encourage you to go check it out for the .NET side of things anyway. But if you want to run MicroPython on it, it's also a pretty cool board for $50. Come along and have a look at it. It's pretty snazzy. The Pine Time stuff, I think I talked about this 2 months ago. Pine Timer is a watch that was announced by the Pine 64 guys. Now they do a whole bunch of like single board computers, like Raspberry Pi sort of stuff. They're also getting into laptops, and they also announced this thing. It caused a bit of a stir on Twitter because their price is pretty aggressive. They're looking at 25 US or 30 US for a digital watch. I suggested to them that MicroPython should be ported to it. Which they kind of threw back at me and said, can you do the port? So, fair enough. So I do need a little bit of help with this, so if anyone can help out. We've got good support for the microprocessor on the board already for MicroPython, but some of the peripherals we need a bit of help with. We've got good support for the display, but not much of the rest of it. So we don't have a driver for the touchpad as far as I'm aware, or the accelerometer. Might have the accelerometer, I'm not sure. But anyway, whoever can help out here and wants one of these watches, they're sending me out a dev kit to play with, so reach out and we'll work on it. Looks pretty cool. The black pills, so in the early days there was the blue pills. The blue pills were a really popular board for the Arduino community. They're cheap, $2 US for a board, for a reasonable microcontroller. Unfortunately it was a little bit underpowered for MicroPython, so we never really had good access for it. In particular, the RAM was a bit of a killer, and the flash as well. But the black pills have come out now, and so it's slightly newer STM micro, a bit more RAM, a bit more flash. Will quite happily run MicroPython, and Andrew is currently holding up one in his hot little hands. That's hot off the press. One of the first in Australia. They also have an optional flash port in the back, so for like was it $1.60 or $2? You can extend it by 4 meg.
I think it was more like 30 cents.
30 cents, sorry.
Something that claims to be a flash chip.
Right. There's a few guys on the Slack channel for MicroPython that have come out with board definitions, so we'll be able to use these boards. They're still very cheap. I think mine was
under $4.
$4, yeah, it's $4 or $5. So if you want a really cheap introduction to a really mature variant of MicroPython, that's a good option. The Wemos guys, Wemos do a whole bunch of other MicroPython boards for those that don't know. They're also getting into these W600 boards, which are a really cheap alternative. So cheap board seems to be the theme of the month. These are an ARM M3, about 300k of RAM, about a mega flash, kind of targeting to be an ESP8266 competitor. They're super cheap. I bought mine for $3.10, so that should arrive soon. These guys are actually already supporting a variant of MicroPython themselves. They've already tailored documentation to it. It has SPI support, I2C support, all that kind of stuff you would know and love. That's good. They've also released the TFT, which is a bit more standard. It's one of these guys. But if you've got one of the D1 boards, which we use for the MicroPython workshop, you can just plug it straight in the back of it, and it's got a reasonable display driver on it. They're about $8 or $9, so they're also quite cheap and nice. The Parley's hammock. So I don't know if this is going to play, but we'll try. That is going to play. It might play. Hopefully it'll play. I've pressed the button. Play. Videos and answers. No, it's not going to play. But if you can use your imagination a little bit, there's an OLED display there. See if we can get it up there. There's a little pixel there. And that starts bouncing across the screen. And that was a homework assignment for one of the ladies at... no, it says videos aren't supported yet. I'm sorry. Damn it. But the little pixel sort of bounces around and bounces off the walls. And so that was really cool to see that one of the parties was interested enough to at least go buy one of the OLED displays. I think have her partner soldered legs in, is that right? Yeah. And then, take it to the next level and write a bit of a homework assignment for it. She's also working on ball trails now. And I've suggested that she should try gravity as well with actual vector calculations. So we'll see how she goes. That was cool to see. OpenMV, I'm sure I've talked about these before, but some of you might not have seen them, but they're a really powerful STM32 base board with a camera on it, with a whole bunch of nice software packaged into these devices, all running MicroPython. They had a big update recently to bring up to the latest MicroPython release. They also added TensorFlow support, which is another sort of buzzword of the month. But it's pretty cool. They've built in person detection as well, so whenever someone walks in front of the camera, it'll say yes, there's a person in that scene, or there's not. They've also got region support for that, and that's using the TensorFlow integration. They've also recently announced a new board that they haven't got an announcement date yet or a cost, but it's going to be basically a more and bigger variant of the OpenMV H7. CircuitPython had a big beta because their 5.0 release is coming out. A whole bunch of stuff across the board. BLE display I/O improvements in particular. A couple of new boards they're supporting, STM32 and the Sony Sprint. I didn't spell that right because I can't think of how to spell it. They got Peter Mount audio as well, so those are kind of the big ticket items. If you've got one of the Adafruit boards, go check it out, it's pretty cool. Display driver, so for the ILI 9341, Sion's been working on this. Maybe working on it a little bit loose. But I guess
it's been working on me.
It's been working on you.
Yeah.
So we're looking at ways of getting good rendering out onto one of these commonly used display drivers. So stay tuned, I guess, is the main takeaway from I wanted to share there. But Sion's managed to get some font rendering happening, some chart rendering.
It's upside down.
So we can kind of look at this later, but it's to support your Reflow Master.
Sorry?
Next variant of Reflow Master.
Yeah, it's for my Reflow Master Pro, so SP32, but it's all native MicroPython, not in C. It's using Framework, but it's got coloured fonts, any size fonts that you put in, and I'm writing a graphing charting system which will be separate. You'll be able to use on anything else. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's something we've needed, and we're trying to get to it. Some of the more interesting pull requests. I've got one there, RMT for ESP32, which will allow you to send a bit stream at really accurate intervals. That's coming along. I think it's probably ready for integration from 1.12, I hope. Damien's going to talk about little FS in a sec. Async I/O was rewritten as well, also by Damien, so maybe I'll let him talk about that. And BLE documentation has improved a fair bit too. There's been a lot of other stuff going on, but a lot of it's bug fixes and little things. I thought that was worth just mentioning those. And that is all I've got for you. So now I can stop talking and we can get into the pizza. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.